Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Mitchell FX here. Before we get into today's video, if you could firstly hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up, that would be massively appreciated. So today we are doing our standard daily recap on the markets as it has played out today, over the last couple of days, etc, and potentially see some setups for the rest of the week. It's currently 9 o'clock. It's Tuesday the 10th, and we have roughly 45 minutes until the market closes. However, you know, this time of day is pretty dead. So we are coming in with the market favorites. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm just going to do the market favorites, the most commonly traded ones. So on the weekly time frame, obviously you can see the market has created some higher highs, higher lows over since October 23. So over the last year or so, it's been going up, high highs, high lows. It's now calmed down. We did have a break and retest, shot down, but it looks like we are heading back up on the weekly, which could potentially be expected now to come work its way back up here, retest some of these highs. So weekly, I would say we are bullish. The daily time frame, I would say we are bullish. You can't really see it, but you'll see it in a minute. We've started to create some higher highs, higher lows. The lows did come back down, retest these tops, so that creates some good support, and it is now what looks like started to make its way back up. Heading down to the 4-hour time frame, we can now start to see those higher highs, higher lows be created. A little bit of resistance somewhere where the market is now. However, if you start to draw some key levels, you can now see the market a little bit easier. So again, heading with our buys, you know, we've got support tapped in a few times, resistant levels tapped in, some breaks, just some clean breaks, didn't even come back down to retest. A little bit of support areas, it's retested. So all these higher highs, higher lows, it looks like it's retested on our way back up. There is on the 4-hour a fair value gap right there, which it has, there we go, retested in with the support. Yes, it did wick out a little bit, but there was news today. You know, ideally you don't want to try as news days. The news days are down here, so you can see all the news that's happening on the 11th at 1:30, all the news that's happened on the 12th at 1:30, and again 13th at 3. So there was news today around 1:30ish, I think it was. I could be wrong. However, you know, volatile markets when the news, so that explains why it's just shot out from this resistance and then continued the way it was going. Also, I could see a little bit of a trend. You'll see in a minute when we break this down. So you've got touch, 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 a little bit of a wick out. But again, as you drop this down, all of a sudden you start to see the concept of touch, 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 a little bit of a wick out, come back down before heading back up. I would still stick with a buy bias for that reason, especially if it breaks this trend line here. So stop loss just below 10 pips or whatever, and then potential, let's just slip it back to the daily. Potential, what's over to the left, so we have our support and resistance level. Maybe if we draw that, let's just say roughly around there, and then all of a sudden come back in. There you go, and that explains straight away why it's shot down at this level. So that is the top-down analysis. Potential buy to the upside, or just, you know, something something short. If you want to do a little one-to-one, wait for it to come back down. Just some ideas to see for some potential setups on AUD, USD, Bitcoin, US dollar. We have broken straight through our resistance. We've broken through. Did well, it looks like it had a bit of a hiccup on the trend line. Yes, it did. Come back down into our support. That would have been a perfect buy setup. So as of so far, we're 2 for 2 on breaks and retests. Wouldn't surprise me now if gold does sort of come back down to this level. Weekly, let me have a quick look. Weekly, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's going up. Got higher highs, higher lows created. Let me just do it quickly. So we've got higher highs, higher lows that have been created. A little bit of a downwards momentum here before then scaling back up. So overall, you can see that's bullish, just with a few little pullbacks every now and then. I would say that we're still continuing bullish on Bitcoin. Daily, again, same scenario. High highs, high lows being created. We've now broken what's here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So had a bit of resistance here, shut down, broke the resistance, retested support, come back down, broke the support resistance, retested the resistance, and it's now broken that resistance support. So this level for me is a key area. I would, as I said, literally just wait for a pullback somewhere around here before entering a buy back to take out this liquidity here. Somewhere around that level, I'd say. I mean, if it touched this area, perfect. I mean, if it touched the trend line as well, even better. More case for a buy. Also, looking in here, I can see a fair value gap. This huge bullish candle coming from the top of candle number 1 to the bottom of candle number 3. There you go. So again, really ideal scenario, just overlaying everything. You've got fair value gap in this support on the trend line. So really, where the fair value gap crosses over this support resistance here is a perfect area for a potential buy. Again, with the trend line. Now, let's just have a look at Fibonacci and see what that is saying. And straight away, we have a lovely key level at 38. Ideally, the golden rule is the golden zone, which is 61.8, sorry, to 5. However, you can use these other levels as key levels for potential break and retests and a bit of support and resistance. So it's like this one, for example, 50. You could use this as a key level. You could use the 61.8 as a key level with all these tap-ins, look. So, and again here, the 78 straight away, look, come across all these tap-ins. So it's pretty much where we are anyway. However, I would personally, if I was to take a trade, wait for somewhere around this level. EURGBP. Okay, so let's have a little look. Right, so straight away, I'm going to draw the Fibonacci from top to bottom. We've tapped into roughly around this level. We're heading up to the golden area. I would say this is bullish. Would you say it's bearish? You could, because of here. However, we've now got some change of characters, which is here. So we've got lower low, lower high, lower low. We've failed to break this lower low, and it's now continued to make higher highs. So we've got a change of character here. It's retested this change of character area. So now you could say we are heading upwards. Daily, again, what am I doing? Again, you could say, yeah, it's coming down. However, it's failed to break this lower low. So if I just again draw it quickly, so you've got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. The market has failed to break this bottom and it's now pushed up somewhere like this. So now this area here is the lower low. It has not broken that lower low, and it has now broken this high here. So that means we have a change of character. If this now was to come back down and break that high again, which is now this area, we now have a break of structure, which then, you know, gives more reason for it to continue up. So I would say, again, this is a buy bias as of right now. On the daily, we have a huge bullish candle, absolutely massive. So there was a lot of buyers in this area. We've got a fair value gap. Again, fair value gap overlaps this resistance, so this support resistance. So again, ideally, again, you want to go from a huge push up, you know, straight in to some of these levels maybe. So we've got the fair value gap that's in the golden zone. Let's have a look. Is there any area up here? Yep. So you could say somewhere. Let's just draw a little level here a minute. Coming across there now, we are at this level of resistance on the 4 hour. So that explains why it's slowed down a little bit, or potentially slowed down. So now you could maybe even somewhere here try and look for some support potentially to the upside. So again, I am bullish on EURGBP. EURUSD, higher highs, higher lows being created. I am pretty bullish just from looking at that. You can see straight away from here, EURUSD, we are in an uptrend. We've got higher highs, higher lows being created. Yes, you know, it has slowed down a little bit. However, drop it down again, you can see very easily these higher highs, higher lows being created. It has slowed down a little bit, but that's probably just because it's coming to this trend line here. There's probably quite a few people selling now. But as of right now, personally, I would stay out of EURUSD. Not really, you know, it's just kind of going sideways. Whenever markets are just going sideways like this, ideally, you want to stay away. GBPJPY. Okay. Right, we have got almost a change of character. If this candle maybe closes above this area here, we might have a change of character, which then means a continuation possibly of the upside. So really, it needs to sort of break this level, stay above that level, and I reckon that is continuing up. If it breaks this trend line here, potential sell. I think at the minute it's just sit on your hands for GJ. Personally, it's kind of just gone up above it, gone below it. It hasn't really done a simple break and retest like this area here following this trend line. So GJ, my personal opinion, stay out. Right, GU. We have, it's broken this high now. It's got higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We had low lows, low highs. Now we've gone higher highs, higher lows. We've now broken the highest high from this upwards trend here. So it could genuinely, let me just have a look. Let's go from the top there a minute. Come down, where does that bring us? Straight away onto the daily. Resistance, break, support. We could generally see it come all the way back down here, if I'm honest. Which looks like what it is starting to do now. It's got lower low, lower high, broke that, so we've got to change of character from this high here. Could potentially come back down to this level, I'll be honest. Possibly see it coming down, see what the month is doing. Yeah, it might start coming down if I'm honest. So GU is possibly sells. I would like to see that come down if I'm honest, and then around this level I'd decide whether I was buying or selling. USDJPY, let's have a look. Right, kind of bouncing back and forth from this level and this level daily. I think if it breaks this could continue to go up if I'm honest. The US dollar looks like it's doing here. Failed to break this low, it's broken this high, so we've got to change of character, retest this high, push up. If it now breaks and retests this area, that for me is a break of structure. Retest on the break of structure, we've got resistance, 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 break, support. So for me, I would be looking on USDJPY. Again, stop loss somewhere below, aim for the highs. So instantly, that's a 4-to-1 there. If you want to give your trade a bit of room to breathe, you know, 51 pips. I mean, I wouldn't do 51, maybe like 20 or something, maybe even 30. Even still, that is a 3-to-1. XAU, let's have a look. Nope, we're not looking. Reason I'm not looking or showing because I'm in the middle of a challenge. I will not be looking at XAU while I'm doing challenges or anything like that, because it spoils it and takes it away from the videos I upload when I do recaps, etc, etc. And yeah, if you want to stay tuned and see how we're getting on, just watch one of my other videos. You'll see it on there, the £100 challenge, I think it's called. I'll leave a tag at the end of this video anyway for you to click, and you can just give that video a watch and see how we get on trying to grow that account. And you'll see what it's like as a small trader with a small account, how difficult it actually is trading. But yeah, everything is 100% on there. You'll see wins, losses. I'm not going to hide anything. You know, I don't see the point. I'd rather just be honest with anybody that sees this video. But that is it for today. Nothing more for me to say from here. I will be back again tomorrow, just basically going over everything exactly what I've drawn today, to see if it was right, if it was wrong, and just basically update our charts, draw new things, and just see any potential. But yeah, if you could just hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, I'd massively appreciate it. I am trying to grow the channel and see if we can get a nice little community going. But yeah, that is it from me, and peace out.